When you put alcohol on your body or in your body, it goes to the liver. And the alcohol begins to dissolve the eggs and the cysts of the fluke worm and lots of other parasites. When you get alcohol and fluke worms in the liver, they call it cancer. Some of you say, well, Dr. B, you know, I cook my food really well. Yeah, and? Does your stove go to 1,500 degrees? No, your stove goes to 500. This is a cyst. When the parasites sense heat, they swim into this opening. And when they get into this opening, it closes up. This is like a whole neighborhood. They got golf courses, hospitals, malls, office buildings. They even got freeways. And they live in here. This thing can withstand 1,500 degrees. You can cook the heck out that meat product. They're going to be alive. A lot of you are anemic. A lot of people who are anemic simply have a hookworm or many hookworms. You get hookworms from walking in the grass where there's been dogs and animals. I'm talking about where there's a lot of animals. They drill in through your feet, and sometimes you feel like a little itch on your foot. You're like, what's that? They're very small. They get into the blood system and they search and search till they find the small intestine. When they find the small intestine, these teeth hook into the wall of the intestine. And they begin to drink up to 1 cc of blood a day. A lot of times you go to the doctor, he takes like 2 cc's. They'll drink 1. And then they begin to grow and grow. This is like the original Dracula. It's a blood sucker. Very hard to kill the hookworm. Earlier I mentioned the tapeworm. This is a tapeworm. This thing is, there's a tapeworm called the fireworm, which can grow to be 150 feet long. But your digestive tract is usually about somewhere between 25 and 33 feet long. So this thing can grow to be 33 feet long. Inside you, coexisting. You go to the mall, it goes to the mall. You decide you're going to work out, it works out too. You decide you're a vegetarian, it becomes a vegetarian too. Because I get these vegetarians coming to me all the time talking about, well, you know, Dr. B, I'm a vegetarian, so what? Have you cleaned out your parasites? This is another type of a fluke worm. Shows you the inner workings of it. Shows you the size. 2 millimeters. Kind of big, huh? Some of you keep talking about the mothership. The mothership is coming. Here's the mothership. Swims around your body. And these little hairs lay eggs. They just drop eggs off throughout the whole body. And these are some of the parasites that this thing lays. This is like a spaceship. This is an intelligent being. And all of the insects that it makes have what they call a hive mentality. That means that they are all controlled from the central nervous system, the brain, the mothership. You might have a parasite in you where the mother is in somebody else's body, but they send electrical messages through the environment. That sounds crazy. Not when you think about the queen bee. You have a beehive, right? You have the queen bee. She sends those bees out and they fly for miles. And their job is to do what? Find honey or find things to repair the nest or to protect the nest. And only the queen has the mind. The rest of them are workers or drones. Same thing with these parasites. You think you're going to outsmart them. Well, you've lost your mind. hookworms, which they call creeping eruptions. You've seen people with these lines and these marks on their arms and legs. These, you can actually pop these little blisters open and pull the worm out. There's a lot of people in the islands who tell you they actually pulled the worm out. Because you're itching and scratching, you'll actually take a pin or some tweezers and pull this thing out, and it's dancing around looking at you. And that fish, there's so many parasites in fish. Now, even I eat fish once or twice a year. Okay? I'm a vegetarian. Once or twice a year, I'll have a piece of fish. But I cook it, and I put lemon on it, and I put cayenne, and I make sure that I drink a whole bottle of my Doctah B's Ultimate Quantum Paracleanse. Because I'm frightened. You should be too. And when you become frightened, to get rid of your fear, you deal with your fear by getting rid of it. The only way you can get rid of fear is by dealing with it. This particular parasite, I found this in the National Geographic about 1.5 years ago. They had a whole issue on parasites. It's got these 2 big fingers that it uses to grip onto your tissues. It's got these little things that it uses to grab the tissues and begins to drill and grab the tissue and makes it soft. Then it's got this mouth that sucks up the softened tissue. This thing is gross. You think you're healthy and clean. Dr. B, I work out every night. These parasites work out with you. This thing is like an eel. Look at it. This was in National Geographic also. It's got these teeth up here that's like a shark. It's like a shark inside your body, because your body is a universe. Your body is like a universe. There's oceans, there's planets, there's moons, there's stars, there's suns. This story was in every newspaper about 2 years ago, about a new parasite they found called Pfiesteria. Pfiesteria was caused in the Chesapeake Bay area because there they have the chicken farms, more chicken farms than anywhere else. And the chicken's defecation would run into the streams and into the water table, and it caused something called nutrient loading. Nutrient loading. That's when you get too many nutrients in a natural pond or stream. Too many of the wrong nutrients. What pops up? A brand new parasite called Pfiesteria that has 25 different life stages. In other words, when they looked under the microscope, they thought they saw it, they looked away, they looked at it again, it had changed. So it would keep changing and changing. But then they started noticing fish with little holes eaten into their bodies. And the fish that was supposed to be going downstream were going upstream. Fish would just be going around in circles and didn't know what the heck was going on. They didn't even know they were fish. Because Pfiesteria instantly wipes out the brain. They found fishermen in Chesapeake Bay in their boats going around in circles aimlessly. The Coast Guard finally jumped on the ship. They had to, chase the ship in a circle. And they talked to the captain and said, "What's going on?" He said, "Who are you?" They pull up his shirt and he had holes eaten into their stomachs. And their brain was gone. They also started finding this in the well water, and in the streams, and in the springs of the East Coast. The same thing happened in North and South Carolina where they have the pig farms. Exact same thing happened. And 2 years ago, you couldn't even swim on most of the East Coast. They had warnings at all the beaches. And then suddenly they said, "Don't worry about it, we cleaned it up." Oh, you did, huh? No, you were losing money because people want to go on vacation, and you need to get those people's money. In school, you learned about protozoas. They just didn't tell you that protozoas were parasites. They drink blood. And some of them look kind of pretty, too. They look nice. There's nothing wrong with a little protozoa. Well, you're going to have protozoas in your body, probably. 1 or 2. But when the population gets high, you get sick. Are you following what I'm saying? Yes. Here's a parasite that's like an insect. They say these things live in your skin. There's all kinds of stuff that lives on your skin. But there's things that live in the skin, too. This is the kind of stuff you get from shaking people's hands. So you better get like the Japanese and bow. Bow. Because you don't know what people have been doing with their hands. People can be very nasty. Sometimes I talk about aliens. You never seen one? Here's one. Shishixazoma. I don't like the name. It's got a mouth, a vagina, and a penis. Home alone. It don't need nobody. You trying to find a date? This one brings its sandwich to the beach. It starts in the snail's body in the larva stage. Then it gets into the water. Then the adult worm ends up in humans. Then when we use the restroom, it goes to the egg stage and it goes back to the snail. It's a cycle. This is a super bug. It is very hard to kill. It's even harder to detect. It knows when you're testing for it. Now, you follow what I'm saying? This is a sentient being, an alien. And some people say that insects or parasites like this are not from this world. They can't be. Because they think. They think. And they think faster and quicker than we do. All the science in the world cannot control these things. And this one they call the guinea worm. I think the reason why they call it the guinea worm